Right, welcome to another episode of the Powerful Lives podcast. Today we've got Chris Baker. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Obviously, I'm really good, mate. Yeah, really interesting story. Really been good just catch up the last sort of 10 minutes to actually find out. We obviously grew up probably about 2 miles from each other.
Yeah.
But let's get into it. Let's take you back to where you actually grew up.
Yeah, so I was born in North Mid Hospital, Edmonton.
So
Yeah, lovely hospital, as you know.
beautiful, yeah, beautiful.
And then I grew up in Enfield, Holbrook, Purcell House. It was all right. It was just me and my mum. Like, there was my dad weren't about from a young age. It was just us two. And yeah, it was good. Like, my mum does everything she could. We didn't have much money. We lived in a tower block, but it was good environment to grow up. Like, she's very loving, very caring. Then I'd say when I was 8, from like all that time, it was good. I was going with my nans. I went on holidays. You know, like
It was different back then as well, I think, wasn't it?
They did the best they could. I played out and just.
I don't feel it was so about money. I feel like now it's all about money. Whereas back then, I think you like you say, play out. Christ, you wouldn't even let your kids play out nowadays.
No, a lot of that now it's just screens, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
they didn't exist then. Not that I'm that old. But yeah, it was all good. Everything was good. Like, I had a small family unit. It's just my mum's got a sister. My auntie's got my auntie. She's got a son. It was just my nan and granddad. That was literally it. Like, it was really
all local.
Yeah, at the time I was in Enfield. My auntie was in Cheshunt. My nan was in Cheshunt. So local.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah, local. Where did you go to school?
I went Worcester's primary school at a young age. So you know where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it was good. I enjoyed school when I was in primary school. Yeah, it was. I had some friends and that. You know, it's like it was just a family, and that school was good. Everything was all right.
And then what happened? You secondary school. Was you good at school? Did you enjoy school? Like,
I did when I was young. I enjoyed it. Yeah. But not secondary school so much.
Where did you go? Secondary.
Enfield Chase.
Right. Okay.
But like, from things happened in between. So like, when I was 8, my dad had come back out of prison. So I didn't even know he was in prison. He just wasn't there when I was a kid. But then when I was 8, he started coming back around, and the dynamic changed, mate. He's totally different. Like, them days there, he picked me up in old stolen cars. You know, like, you didn't have like it was easy to steal cars, I suppose.
Yeah.
Back, we're talking 95.
You start a car with a penny sometimes back in them days, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd turn up in like brand new BMs, or it'd turn up in brand new Minis, or whatever the car was at that time. And like, it's just different dynamic to what I'm used to. My mum's never been in trouble in her life. He would, one time we're at the lights and the lights went green, and then someone's bibbed the horn to say like, move, man, it's green. He just got out and beat them up. Like, the whole thing was different, but I don't know, it was like, for me it was so like gravitating. It was like, I kind of like enjoyed it. I don't know, it was just like,
I think it's one of them weird things where, as much as we know it's wrong, we kind of listen. Everyone kind of loves that stuff.
I think, yeah, and I think it's like, I'd had no male role model or no male figure in my life at that stage, like father figure. And then when he does come, he's doing all this stuff. It's like, is this how men are supposed to move? Like, is this how we're supposed to act?
But we grow up watching fighting films. You know, we grow up watching Kickboxer, Bloodsport. You know, like Bruce Lee. Like, you know, like when you think about it, everyone sort of wants to be that fighter.
Yeah,
which is, you know, it's portrayed. When your dad left when you was 2, did he go? Was that straight into prison?
Yeah.
But did you know he was in prison, or?
No, I didn't know. Then. He was working away. And then
6 years.
Yeah. And then he comes out at 8, and like stolen cars. He didn't like the police. He used to tell me like they're bullies, and I suppose them times they probably were to him. But yeah, so the dynamic changed. Like, I just suddenly see that sort of life that happened. That was going on for a few years, and like, I just started changing the way I behave. My behaviour like was different. You know, like, instantly, I think I had this anti-authority attitude sort of thing, and school wasn't as good, and yeah.
School's a pressured environment, I think. You know, like, I've noticed it with I've got 4 kids, I've got 4 girls. And I've noticed the difference from primary school where everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Secondary school is awful.
Yeah.
It can be a real horrible place where it's, it's sort of make or break.
Yeah. No, it is. And then when I was 10, I was watching like Fresh Prince, sat down. My mum's like, "Oh, you got to turn this over, put the news on." And he went to prison. It was him on the news, like, and I'm sitting there watching it, thinking, "Why is Fresh Prince not on?" And and he's getting sentenced to like the Old Bailey for 3 life sentences, and it's just like, I put Fresh Prince back on. Don't think it really sunk in, and then that was it. Like,
was you seeing your dad at the time when this was all going through?
He'd
like?
come round. Sometimes he'd just pick me up and try to drop me to my cousins or whatever. But I would see him, and then when that happened, he'd been away for a while on remand. Then I see him getting sentenced, and again, that was like just before coming up to like secondary school and things like that. And then from then on, I just had like mad attitude. Like the neighbours all changed. They started being like funny with us. Like the lady that I used to go in her house at the end of the landing, she had like birds and she'd let me in and play with them. And then as soon as that happened, she was putting rubbish on my door and calling me the N-word and chasing me and fighting my mum. And even one time, her boyfriend pulled out a knife and was going to stab my mum. But luckily, I was only a kid. I couldn't have done much. But the police turned up. I don't think I've ever been so happy to see them. Like the life I've lived after. But I was. Like, and it's got de-escalated. And I remember after that, vividly, like, I started putting a knife under my little GT BMX. Like I'm a kid. But seeing that was like the fear of that thought of them trying to stab your mum.
Yeah.
Like, and then you getting all this rejection, and so then I
it's
started,
that product of environment again, what we were saying earlier. Like you see, if you see violence, it becomes almost a way of life, which is terrible.
And I think it was a lot of fear. Like fear is like can be mad. You can do so much if you fear for yourself. Do you know what I mean? So I had it under my bike, and I was driving. And I'm like 10, 11 years old at this time. It's just when I look back now, it's a crazy.
Do you think it was a little bit of bravado as well? Like you're the one who's got a blade, and you're sort of. I think it's that age where you're trying to reach out and you're trying to sort of make a bit of a reputation, or was it just genuinely fear?
Honestly, I didn't tell one person, so I don't think it was bravado, because I think I've been in a position of bravado before, but that initially wasn't, because no one knew apart from me.
It was pure protection.
I think it was seeing these things like with your mum and with these neighbours and with these people. You think, oh, well, I need that now because they got one. Yeah, they're a male, they're an adult. Do you know what I mean? So
And what did your dad went down for? What, triple murder?
No, he didn't go for triple murder. I don't really talk about his crimes because it just takes attention away from my story. Do you know what I mean? It's not my story to tell. So.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to get more in how it would have affected you.
Just even seeing it, like it was
horrific.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember it vividly. Do you know, like, is
he out now?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
You no contact?
No, not really. I've spoke a couple times. It's just like, I don't know, when you've missed 28 birthdays and Christmases and like it's like.
You can't just pick it up.
It's hard, isn't it? Like, and then I always look back at the things that I have the control to not act a certain way, but when you're young and you see these things and they've implemented your life, and then you've lived a life like I have, and then I look back and think, would I do that with my kids? Like, regardless of what life I'm living, would I be that irresponsible? And I don't think there's a real relationship there or basis for one.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, I suppose, listen, we never know what someone else is going through, as in we don't know what your dad was going through at the time, and what made you, there's obviously something must have made your dad angry. Mm-hmm. We don't know what I'm sure you do, but I don't know what his upbringing was and how good that was, but it's the knock-on effect is horrific. Like you say, even down to the car incident where you shouldn't be doing that shit with your kids in the car. Yeah. We all think about it, but you kind of got to have that little bit of self-control.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what makes us. It's a difference between good people and bad people, I suppose.
Yeah, I know I've done bad things, but then I think, would I do that sort of stuff? I don't know. And yeah, like it's just hard, isn't it, to pick up?
Yeah,
because you're a stranger to me, really. You know? I know minimal about you, and you know minimal about me. It's quite difficult.
Yeah. I think I sort of spoke to a lot of people on the pods where they've had that sort of strained relationship after 15 years away, and it never sort of seems to feel the same. You know, it sort of feels like two strangers rather than a father-son.
Yeah, I've seen him. Like I've seen him a couple of times in that time. But yeah.
Yeah. So what happens? So you're 12 years old. You're growing up in Cheshunt now.
No, I was still in Enfield, and then I went Enfield Chase. Started there for a year. It's just hard, man. I think I was struggling a lot mentally. I think even though like they didn't really talk about it then as much as it is now. We're talking like 1997. Like I was in school and I wasn't like, it wasn't that like it is now. It was like more suck it up. And I think all these things I'd seen and been through kind of impacted me mentally. And I think I was just not. I was anti-authority. I was playing up to school and just being disobedient and not really trying to like get on with the work. I was just trying to be
disruptive.
Yeah, literally I was. And obviously that didn't last long.
Was you seeing anyone, was there any counselling in place or anything like that?
Well, what happened was when I started school, the first year, they gave me like a session with, I don't know what it was, psychiatrist, therapist or whatever it was. And sat one session, I'm closed off because of course I don't know them. They were asking me painful things. So I was like, I'm okay. That was it.
I think it takes more than one session anyway. Yeah, it's one of them things, like, but especially at that age.
It just closed the case then.
Really?
Nothing really happened after that. I never had no more sessions.
Yeah.
So.
Because it's mad to think that, like, with, Christ, I'm not saying it's the be all and end all, but with a proper bit of therapy, it could have really helped you out at that age.
Yeah, definitely.
It might have changed the path.
Yeah. No, it definitely could have. But I don't think I was ready to talk to them either.
No.
Yeah, just one session, that was it. And then I just, like I said to you, I wasn't applying myself in school. And I think I was just struggling, literally, mentally, and just acting out, even at home. I wasn't behaving.
How was your relationship with your mum?
Initially, like, it wasn't great because I was just like a lot of anger, maybe blame, but like, obviously that's evolved now, and like, she's my world. But like, I think on my part, I wasn't behaving well. I was like just angry at the world, but she was obviously doing what she could and trying and being a supportive. But yeah, I wouldn't probably let her in, and maybe a bit angry in that time. Yeah, but yeah.
Again, it's even it's that dodgy age anyway. You know, being 12, 13, your body's going through changes. Like, it's with none of that. What's happened in the past? Mm-hmm. It's a tricky age.
Yeah.
You bring all that shit into it as well. It's a sort of time bomb, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what happens then? You start sort of getting in with crime. You're mixing with the wrong crowd. What's the crack?
Then I got chucked out of that school, and then I went to one in Oddiston called Sherides.
Well, yeah, one of my daughters went there actually for a short period of time.
Yeah, so year 8 I was starting in Sherides, but at this time, we're doing like stupid things like little thefts and nothing heavy really. Thefts, stealing things, and just being kids. Like, do you know what I mean? Just going out, fighting with other kids, causing trouble.
Was you still living Enfield and travelling up, or
initially? But then we got evicted from Enfield, and then I ended up moving back to Cheshunt. So like only for the first part of the year, and then the rest of it I was living in Cheshunt.
Okay. Whereabouts in Cheshunt was you?
Do you know Rosedale?
I know it well, yeah.
I was on the Rosedale. Valence Drive.
I know Valence Drive well, yeah.
I was there for a bit.
Yeah, small world, mate, yeah.
Yeah, I was there. It was my nan's place. That's where I lived for a
bit. Yeah. And listen to Rosedale again.
From like, Enfield, it was lovely.
Yeah, I was going to say, because obviously I was sort of Freezewater, which, Christ, people in Cheshunt, they were rich.
Yeah,
that was how. It's like I remember, like my little brother's your age. He's over there. He's 37, right? And he went to school, he went to St Mary's. So looking at that there, all his mates, all my friends were sort of Edmonton and Enfield, and they sort of had nothing. And all his mates were living in Hammond Street in, like big 4-bedroom, two garage houses. You used to think, oh dear, like worlds apart.
No, and it is. It's only a couple of miles up the road, but you used to think of that. Even like, so we'd come down and I'd get my friends from Enfield would come down and rob all the dealers from Cheshunt, and they'd like, just give it up and that, and they'd be going back to the area laughing. Like it was a total, like you say, it was a total different world.
Yeah,
it was. But yeah, I was there and it was nice. I was at Sheridan's for a bit. I think again, I didn't really adapt to the environment. I didn't listen, same sort of behaviour, and I ended up leaving that school. I think my mum tried to go even further. Went to Bedfordshire for a bit.
Oh really?
That didn't work because I didn't really fit in well. You think you've gone from...
You're a long way out there, yeah.
You've gone from...
You sound different in Bedfordshire, didn't you?
Oh, mate, it was different. It was different. There was not many black kids in school. Like, even going from Enfield, the culture to Enfield to Hoddesdon was mad.
Yeah.
You go to Sandy, it was called.
I know Sandy.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's even worse. But so that didn't work for long either. I think I'd done a couple of years there, but then I ended up getting chucked out, no GCSEs, and then I went back to Cheshunt, back to Rosedale, and that's when I think crime really elevated for me, like 14, 15.
I suppose you're at that age where you want nice things, but you've got nowhere getting them.
Yeah,
you've screwed the education up.
Yeah, and then my nan, when I was at her house, she's like, if you're living here, you got to go to work. And they're old school. My granddad does painting and decorating, and it was very much, we'll get you a trade. And yeah, lovely, but like, I'm sitting there outside earning my week's wage in a day. And you need to go and fucking carry fucking slabs or whatever. It's like... You
lose you lose perception of money, I think, don't you? It's one of them. Like,
yeah, and you're like, oh, why am I going to go and do that when I can do this? And
yeah. I can only go get out of bed for an hour a day, and I'm earning a week's money.
Yeah,
it's like,
and it's just
that's the trap, though, isn't it?
Whatever comes fast don't last.
Yeah, that's the trap. Yeah.
So I was just doing that, but I was still doing work at the same time.
What sort of crime was it? Was it just robberies? Was it sort of just what, robbing drug dealers?
Yeah,
what was the crack like?
A lot of robbing drug dealers, but also a lot of selling drugs at the same time.
Yeah, you're serving up as well,
which is kind of hard sometimes, like because you lose trust, obviously, because you're robbing drug dealers. But like, I did have like a good line, and yeah, I was doing that. And then it's just a lot of what comes with that life is fighting. If you've done someone wrong, then you're going to be on. If you're always fighting because you're always out, people trying it. It's just that life only attracts negative stuff.
Yeah.
In my experience,
it seemed to be about, because I remember we used to get in the King James now and again in Cheshunt.
Yeah.
And you go in there, and it seemed like there was about 30 people around your age drinking in there, and every one of them was trying to sell drugs.
Yeah.
And it was like, I used to sort of pull my little brother to one side and say, listen, do not get involved. Yeah. You know, it's only going one way. And they must be selling to each other. It's like, it was crazy.
It's a competitive market there, isn't it?
But that was it. You go in there and you could just see it was just a drug-fueled place.
Yeah, but Cheshunt, they love it, man. Like, it is competitive. Everyone's in the pub trying to network and build their lines up. But King James was a good spot.
It's gone there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tall place now.
Yeah. I only realised the other day I drove past. I didn't know it had gone.
When I, as you know, like I'm quite old now. That used to be the King James and the Rose and Crown opposite.
That's it. Yeah.
And them spots were alright. They were active. But
I remember. I didn't get down to that much, but I remember it being like a mass brawl in the Rose and Crown opposite, like tables, chairs,
all the time.
A Wild West, yeah.
I think what it is you get people like from, like we say, Enfield, Edmonton, Totland, like this go out Cunch, Cheshunt, and they're in Cheshunt, and then you got people from other areas of London doing the same, and then you got, and before you know it, you got people from Cheshunt, like and it creates animosity, doesn't it?
I think back then, this is probably the same now, but back then it seemed like you you only got beef in a neighbouring town, and that's it. You're an outsider.
Yeah.
You know, that's enough. That's enough for it to kick off. Like, you know, what's this geezer from Oddleston doing in Cheshunt? Like,
But yeah, I used to like it. I like Cheshunt. School, when I come back there, I was just doing all these crimes and robberies and selling drugs and getting my friends from Enfield still to come up and like take stuff off people and just a lot of just nothing serious, I suppose. Like some of the violence was, but like you fight fire with fire, so whatever's coming at you, you're gonna.
That's the game, I suppose. Yeah, you know, it's like everyone's. If you're out robbing people, you like you say, sort of live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah. At that stage, I hadn't been prison. I was just going court quite often for stupid shit, and it was like a day out. You go there, you come back, you always get maybe probation or some order, and then
was it almost like a badge of honour, though? You know, like sort of I'm in the court again. Was it? Did it feel like that back then? You know, like
I think like in a stupid, dumb way, like yeah, it was like. But you'd go in court and you'd be like, "Who's in here today?" Because like, you'll see all the people who you might not get on with might be there. Yeah. And a couple of times I actually had trouble. Not trouble, I wouldn't say, but like there was confrontation between me and another guy because he got robbed or like we don't get on.
Yeah,
we're in court and then it's like, oh my god, this
not good look. Yeah,
in this place, it's the last place you want to be. Literally, but yeah, it just happened. Kept going there all the time.
What about this? Sort of, when you're going through this, how was the relationship with your mum?
Yeah,
strained.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that's come out of everything.
Yeah,
even like to the extent of like losing an arm and all that, whatever. Like the trouble I caused her, I didn't really. I see it, but I didn't really.
Just too selfish at the time to.
Yeah, that's the, if I'm honest, like. Yeah, like I put her through so much. Because obviously I'd be getting raided, they'd be coming to the house, like I'm out, she never can sleep, like she's nervous, I'm an only child.
Yeah.
On her. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of impact was on her and I was just too wrapped up in my own bubble to even contemplate how I was making other people feel.
Yeah.
Literally, like
yeah. But we've all been there. You know, like most, you know, I've out of my 4 daughters, my 15 or 16-year-old, she lives in Cheshunt now. And she's very samey. It's all about her, which is fine. Listen, because I was the same.
Yeah.
You know, when I was 15, 16, it was all about me. So you kind of, I think you can see it, but that's without bringing the shit to the door.
That's what
you know. That's the difference. If it's about her because she, you know, she's out with her pals, is one thing. But if my ass was getting raided every week.
Yeah, and you never know. Like I'm coming back with black eyes or like whatever it is, like you know, blood on me, blood on me.
Child, your worst night as a parent, it'd be your worst nightmare.
Yeah, and like I just really never deeped the impact that I was causing her.
Yeah,
like you say, I was too me and this lifestyle and whatever.
She's probably laying there awake, not knowing whether you're coming home, you know, whether you're coming home alive, whether it's horrible.
It done her in.
Yeah,
but she's really like it was harsh.
Yeah, but this is part of growing up.
Yeah, it's painful.
Have you got any kids?
Not yet.
See, I think that's the mad thing. You know, as you get kids, you sort of suddenly go. I remember moaning at my mum saying, "Fucking little shit," and she'd go, "I wonder where she gets that from," you know. And then she starts telling you about yourself, and you go, "Right, okay, fair play." Yeah, like it's an age thing, you know. And we are all different, but and I think product of environment. You know, like you again, without having your dad around, then sort of seeing all the shit you've gone through, not making excuses, but it does impact your whole life.
And I think she always says, I think that's what made her so lenient.
Yeah.
Because she would never punish me. So I'll go out and whatever, come home, school's said he's done this and that. But she wouldn't punish me. I think she felt so...
She almost understood.
Yeah, and I think she felt so, like, I suppose guilty for his actions, even though it wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
I think that she was so concerned about that and how that's impacted me that she would allow me to get away with certain things, I think.
Yeah.
But we have a great relationship now.
Yeah, good.
So that's good.
Yeah, and it comes. Listen, I'm not never fallen out with my mum, but we've sort of distanced ourselves over years, and now I feel like we're tighter than ever. You know, like so I think it does come around. You learn to realise what they've done, but again, it comes with age, doesn't it? You know, you start appreciating everything that they've done and all the shit you put them through, and you sort of try and pay it back a bit, I suppose, don't you?
That's what you can do.
Yeah. Try not to cause any more grief.
Oh,
But no, brilliant. So while you're going through this stage, was you carrying? Was you using weapons?
Yeah, I would say like more time then it was like people would have dusters or like maybe like baseball bats in the car and things, but now it wasn't so much nice. Even though I started young with a knife, I don't think it would more. I wouldn't really have that. But yeah, I would have like a duster, or if I'm driving, I'd have like a baseball bat in the car. And like that.
Yeah, because Cheshunt, it's weird. Like, Cheshunt wasn't a horrific place. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there was two sides to it, but it wasn't a bad place to grow up in. But I think it was there if you wanted it. Like you say, we knew people who were carrying back then.
Yeah, and I think it's the life you're living and your attitude and what you're doing.
Yeah,
because like you can get it anywhere, can't you? Like you say, but when you're in that, I think it's about not getting caught with whatever you're with. Like you're trying not to get caught as well, because police are pulling. Like when I'm driving, police are pulling me over. I don't know, five times a day sometimes.
Really, yeah.
It weren't like what it is now. It'd be like we can smell weed, search in the car, get out. Do you know what I mean? It was total different to now. Like I don't ever get pulled over now, but then it was on like all the time.
Don't you think that's the maddest thing though? Now you're living a clean life, you don't get pulled over.
Well, I have this thing because a lot of people say about like people getting pulled over all the time because of their colour or whatever. There's a lot of like controversy around this at the moment, or even like back then. But I look at it like when I was active, I was getting pulled over 5 times at least, like a day, whatever they was on me. Whenever they see me spinning, coming, getting.
Yeah, because they're not stupid.
But now I'm not getting pulled over. So at that time, I even thought, you're racist. But clearly now I'm not getting pulled over, so something's changed.
Yeah.
And I don't. It must be because
the variable is what you're doing. Like the old people know what you're doing. You know.
I think so. But I think also now they have to have more reason to pull over as well.
How did you find racism growing up? Because my 2 eldest kids are mixed race. Mm-hmm. My eldest is 19. Mm-hmm. I spoke to her a few years ago when all the BLM riots were going on. I sat down and asked her, I said, like, have you ever experienced racism? And they said no.
Well, I told you at 10, the lady was chasing me, calling me the N-word.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Cheshunt, often when I've robbed someone, I'm called a monkey or black this, black that. So, yeah, I experienced it, but I don't know, like, yeah, I did experience it. There was like, I think there was me and about 3 other guys in Cheshunt that were black, and we experienced it, man.
You did, yeah?
Because when I first moved to Cheshunt from Enfield, like I said to you, like 97, 98, might have been 99, I can't remember. It was different there. It was like people would knock on your door and say like about fucking National Front Party and all this. Like it was different. Like, and there was not many black people in Cheshunt at that time. So yeah, we did experience it. But I think on the end of it was after I've done them a wrong and then I'm called this. So it was said out of anger, but never like to your face overtly. It was just more if I've done something, they'll be on the phone, you fucking whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I see it with my ex missus, like the mother of my 2 eldest. I've been places and walked into a pub before and the pool ball pretty much stops over the pocket and the jukebox goes off and you realise that you're not welcome. Yeah. Like, he's out there, but I'd like to think it's got better. You know, like you say, going back to, like you say, the 90s, I'd like to say it's improved.
Has it? Look at society at the moment.
But I think now, all of a sudden, I think look at the media right now will tell you it's not, but I think society will tell you it has.
Yeah, I don't think now you don't go into places and think, this is not for black people, Irish or dogs. You know what I mean? You don't get that now, but like I think there is still, Yeah, and look at the world at the moment. What's going on? Like it's crazy stuff going on. So I think it definitely is. But I just don't get it thrown at me.
I think I say this all the time, right? If you take 100% of people, you've got 1% of the world, black, white, yellow, fucking brown. They're wrong uns. They're the ones you see, the far left, the far right. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that shout. 98% of people just want to get on with everyone and just enjoy life. Yeah. So simple. Do you know what I mean? Like, most people don't see colour. No. It's not. I do honestly believe that. I think like the media now, the media are portraying. I don't know. Like I've seen on WhatsApp groups. I've seen Muslim gangs running around with bats and knives. Right. Yeah. There might be 200 or 300 of them that we've seen running around. Yeah. How many Muslims are in the country? Right. Same with what they're classed as a far right. You're seeing a handful of people. You know. They don't speak for everyone. No. And that's kind of like what the media are portraying right now. Kind of sort of, that's what racism is, isn't it? Where we class everyone the same. Like, frustrating. Like, you know, we grow up. I've got a very, very diverse friend range. I don't know. You speak to a lot of people. It's being made worse.
Yeah, I think the media makes everything
massively.
I don't even really listen to most of it. You don't know what's the truth or what isn't it? Like, it's the narrative they're trying to push on you most times. Yeah. But I can talk from my own experience. I have seen it, and yeah, there's definitely stuff going on at the moment. It's just I don't, like you say, the media. You can't buy into anything that they put
No. Like I say, I think there's racism on both sides all day long. You know, it's like that's the reality of it. There's always and tensions are heightened at the minute. But I honestly do believe 98% of the population just want a fucking quiet life and get on with it, and everyone's happy. Yeah. You know, getting back to your story, you're obviously now serving up small, big. Does it get bigger, or was he sort of view to grow it into this, or was this just like a wage?
Yeah, no, like I had like a mainly ticket line, but then I'll do like big bits of skunk or pills. I'd get pills. Pills were popular them times. So yeah, them sort of things. But I preferred the ticket lines, to be honest, because it was, I don't know, I just had a better way of making them. And I think with the bigger bits, it's a lot more risk of bird than the smaller. But yeah, it was alright. It was doing alright. I was just spending it as it come, really, though. I wasn't investing it, saving it. I was just
flash cash.
Just spending it.
Yeah. Really. What sort of money are you making a week?
Depends. I don't know, 5-10 quid sometimes. Yeah.
So you're having it off. You know, you're earning some decent money, but so it's just.
Yeah, it depends. Like some weeks, and then but never really much below 3-4. Do you know what I mean? So it depends. What's there, what's available, what I can drink off. But again, I was just spending. Like I did not do nothing wise with it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't using my head at the time.
I think when people first get money, I think they do kind of think it's going to last forever as well.
Yeah.
You know, they say the second time round you keep it.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just don't really. I don't know. I think there's that life I was living.
I think also, listen, when you've gone without, when you've grown up. Listen, I grew up in Enfield, same as yourself, right? We didn't have money, so when you first get money, whether it's honestly or corruptly,
you don't value it.
Yeah, you kind of want to go, right, well, all these things I've wanted them for 20 years. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go and get them, you know. And I think you do go and, you know, you want to have a bottle of champagne here and there, and you want the flash cars or it's like the nights out, and you kind of blow it, because I do think it's one of them. You know, it's what you've craved for. It's what you're doing it for, really.
Yeah, and you don't value it because it's come so easy.
No one goes into drug dealing thinking I'm going to drug deal and then I'm going to buy a house portfolio. Like it's kind of not the, you know, most people are going in it just for the easy, fast money. Yeah, get it and enjoy the life. And I suppose also you kind of don't know how long it's going to last.
No, never do.
No.
So yeah, I was just doing that really, and then I think the first time I went to prison was like I was 20, and I went into court. I've been in court so many times, and I'd gone in this time for breaching a community service. I was like, I ain't doing that. And the judge gave me 12 weeks. And it was at Hertford this time. They used to have a court in Hertford. I don't know if you remember it, in the middle of the town.
I remember, yeah.
And so they sent me down, and I was in the cells like, this ain't the day out that I'm used to. What's going on here? And then like the nerves kicked in. I'll be honest with you. I was half shitting myself. Like, where am I going? What's going to happen? Just pulled up the sweatbox. First time in the sweatbox. I'm in the sweatbox. I'm like, fucking hell, like sardine. And I don't know where I'm going. Don't know who's going to be in there. They say you're going to Woodhill. It was a Cat A at that time, in like 2005. It was like renowned. It was quite like you're off thinking, oh shit, what's it going to be like? Who's there? Who don't I get on with? I pulled up, and then the door shut behind you. And then reality hits me. You're in this sweatbox, door shut. You ain't going home. You're here for 6 weeks. I know 6 weeks now, in hindsight, done a bit more, but it's nothing. But it is the first time.
It's a long 6 weeks.
You're in there. You don't know who you're going to see. You get on the wing, and by the time I got on, the wing was shut down. So I'm waking up in the morning thinking, who's going to be? Come out my door thinking, oh shit.
How did you sleep that night?
I hardly slept.
No, I was going to say,
I was in a cell with some guy that was like he's a bit an addict. They put me in because I'm new and I don't know the ropes. I'm half swallowing it. Like, they're thinking, this fresh one will bang up with him. So I'm banged up with this guy. He's half like, he ain't even half. He's fully like he's got drug issues, and I'm in this cell. He's the least of my worries, even though he stinks or whatever. He's the least of my worries. I'm thinking, I'll come out in the morning and who's here? And I come out, and next door was one of my good friends. So it was sweet. It was sweet. But I was nervous. I can't. It's just the unknown. It's the
fear,
the apprehension of you don't know who you're going to see, what you're going to do, how's it run. Is it like this? The stories, the films you've watched. Like, you don't know what it's like. Yeah. And then, in the end, it's just like youth club. You play pool, you play table tennis,
work out,
family, go shower, and you bang up. And then by the end of it, 6 weeks over, and you've actually, because 6 weeks sentence, you can't do no courses. They take longer to do courses. You've learned. I feel like you've learned nothing. In the short sentences, you learn nothing. You just come out more connected.
Yeah.
So like, I've met you. We get on. Right, we're gonna do it. When I get out, we'll link up. And before you know it, you've made more.
You actually grown your network. Yeah.
Yeah. In a negative way.
Yeah.
So I come out same day. I got out. Again, this is where it impacts the mum that she couldn't come and see me because she couldn't take the fact that leaving me there was heartbreaking to her. So she couldn't come. She sent my auntie. My auntie come and see me and that. And then I get out. She's there to pick me up. And it's like, the first thing I done was send a message to everyone I'm back. Do you know what I mean? Like, on my phone.
Shops open.
And added them same numbers that I just got from on the wing and added the people that I just met, and like went and got a haircut, and it's just like, now in hindsight, it's like, you didn't even consider what you was doing.
Yeah.
The first thing you done after that, you learned nothing. So I went straight back at it. But I didn't have a license then. I'd lost my license for drink driving. So I bought a bike, just to get about on, some stolen bike, and I was just like going around on that. Like it was like a Ringer copy bike.
Yeah.
Like an R6, and I was just floating about doing things on that. Yeah, and then one night we were out drinking again in a pub, me, I'd say the Plug, and another pal of mine. And the Plug gets a call and his missus has crashed and died on the scene, hit a tree, but his little girl's in the back. And it was like, wow. He went to the scene, and me and the other guy carried on drinking, and he was begging me at the end to not drive the bike because I was drunk. And I was like, nah, I feel all right. I was like, and I had to go and meet someone. So I took this drive, and I've gone to the person, met them, done the transaction. But as I'm pulling off, the police come behind me with the blue lights. And I was like, still half cut. And I dropped the gear, and I shot off. And I come to the bend, I was going at 100, I was swerving, the police couldn't keep up. Came to the bend too fast, and it started snaking, and it catapulted me flying through the air. The impact was so much, the helmet come off, I went through this fence Thomas Rochford,
Yeah.
Cheshunt. You know where the speed camera is. You remember the railings now is metal, but they used to be wooden back in the day. And I went through them, and they're like 3 slats of wood, 4x4, through them and down into that ditch and landed in that stream. I looked up, and the police officer is like a guy that was my schoolmate in Sheridan's. And he's saying, like, stop moving, it's worse than you think. And I'm looking at him, and I couldn't breathe because I punched at both lungs. Well, I could, but I felt like I couldn't. And, like, I'm still trying to get away, but my arm wouldn't come. So, I broke 10 ribs. I punctured both lungs. I shattered my scapula, I broke my pelvis, broke vertebrae in my back. Had a massive head injury. Stretched the nerves in my legs. And, I was rushed to hospital. A team of dedicated surgeons was working on me for 12 hours, trying to save the arm. But eventually, they had it in pins and scaffolding, and I come out. I was in a coma. I came out of the coma, two weeks in induced coma, and then everyone's around, looking at me. And the first thing I said, like, Billy, get me a drink. I've got dry mouth, and everyone starts crying. And then now I know that they was waiting to see if the head injury was brain damage. And yeah, my arm was still there, but it just stunk like rotten flesh. It was in the scaffolding. And do you know what? I'm jumping ahead a bit, but I recently got some pictures because I asked for all the footage and all the pictures. The police had nothing, but I asked the hospital for images, and I'll give them to you, and you can put them.
Please, yeah.
And so yeah, I've got all the images of when I was in hospital, and I don't know, like, I thought I dealt with this, but seeing that it was hard.
Just took it all back.
Oh, like, you wouldn't believe. Like, I literally didn't come out. I went like, I felt like I was down for like a week. I had to, like, this ain't me. I had to really, like, go deep, and I don't know, it was hard.
It's horrific, yeah. I just think you don't ever think you're going to lose a limb.
Nah.
You know?
And then they come to me after the surgeons, and they said to me, he's got sepsis, it will kill you, you have to sign. I was like, no, refuse him. And then they said, if you don't, your mum will have to, because we can't let you die. And so I had to sign, and then, yeah, they amputated it. And then...
What age was this?
I was 22 then. 22. I'd done 6 months in hospital, and then, yeah, 22, they had to amputate it. It was fucked.
How was you? I mean, obviously, mentally, I'm guessing you can't get your head around it, right?
Like, mentally, it was so hard, because I was suddenly plagued with insecurities, like, which I've never had. It's hard to say, like, you're in that life. And
but how's life? Yeah, all of a sudden, yeah, like you've literally lost your right arm, like.
You know, is fighting crime, and now you're, like, extremely vulnerable, I suppose, in a sense.
Yeah, like, you're almost defenseless, yeah.
Physically, in a life that you're in, and yeah, it was just hard, man. Obviously, I had PTSD. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was just in a bad place, and a lot of, like, guilt and anger and resentment directed towards myself. Like, you fucking drove the bike drunk. I hated myself, like, in a level that I don't think I'd ever done. But how do I deal with that? I project it outwards. I always have. So
become an angry human.
Just angry, like, that anger that I feel for myself is projected everywhere,
yeah.
And then, like, I'm just unbearable. So when I left the hospital, I just stayed in my house for two years roughly. Like, I did come out occasionally, but majority of the time
you were just in, yeah.
Wouldn't come out, stayed indoors smoking weed.
Didn't want to face the world.
Yeah, my friends would knock on the door. I'd ignore them. They know I didn't. They'd know I was in. But yeah, it was just a dark place.
How was your mum through that?
Again, it's like...
Was you living with your mum?
Nah, I didn't want to go back there, and I couldn't walk up the stairs at that time. I couldn't barely walk. Still struggle now with like, not to walk, obviously, but, like, I got issues with my feet, like, from that accident still. So no, they gave me a place on the Springs. We said about town.
Yeah.
So I was there. And I couldn't walk properly. So I like I had a crutch and I had braces, and I just didn't really come out. I was just in. Then I started getting a bit more better, a bit more stronger on my feet, a lot of physio, and then I was like, my answer to it, I did go to the doctors. I was asking for help. They didn't have no PTSD specialist in that area at the time. I was going to the doctor saying we ain't got it. Just give me more tablets, and that's not doing nothing. So my idea was like, I didn't process it. I didn't deal with it. I just pushed it down. And what I did is I went out and tried to prove to myself that I'm still the same Chris. And I did this by doing the dumb shit that got me in that position. Do you know what I mean?
You actually went back to it.
That's all I knew, and it was like, I'm not gonna let this change me or impact me. I'm still that same person, but the irony is that the person that I was trying to be was not the person to be anyway. So I started, and this is when I would say I use knives more because I felt even more vulnerable. If I'm honest with the situation, I felt like I could tell, like, people that before I lost my arm I'd done wrongers to or had fights with or just wouldn't say nothing were now piping up. You're like, what, now
they want to have it.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh God. So like I knew then, like, oh God, people are not everyone's feeling some sort of sadness for you. Most people are thinking, and
got your comeuppance.
Yeah, now sure, it's their time to fucking give it back to you.
Yeah.
And that was the hard pill to swallow. So that escalated my behaviour, I would say.
Yeah. And this is horrible, but to be fair, you probably would have done the same.
And you brought it on yourself.
Yeah. It's horrible to say.
Yeah. So I just started doing the same things, getting involved in crime. I remember at one time we went and robbed a dealer, and I'm running away with the drugs, and my prosthetic arm's falling off. and I'll never forget, because I had to pass my powder bag, and I had to like grab this and run with this, and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? But I wouldn't go out without that prosthetic arm because I felt so insecure.
Yeah.
So insecure, man. And that thing, it would come off every time it was hot. It would get, because it's like a silicone sleeve.
Yeah.
As soon as a bit of heat comes, it just get sweat, slide off, and it just drop, and you'd have no warning. Your arm would just drop on the floor. And I was always scared to go out, and it would drop, and it was just such a fucking horrible thing to have.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable. Doesn't do nothing.
My uncle grew up with he lost a leg at, I think he was 18. He was either 18 or 21. He lost a leg like from there, like right at the top, and obviously mentally it destroyed him for a few years, but by the time I sort of come around, he'd literally sort of like mess around with it. I remember sitting in the pub once, and he sat there and he got a dart and he started stabbing himself in the leg, going, "I've had enough," like that. And everyone's looking around thinking, "What's this geezer doing?" But he's a prosthetic leg, like, you know what I mean? Like, you go like, but he sort of learned to live with it, like, but obviously uncomfortable, like the joint, the rubbing,
it
like,
rubs sore.
Yeah.
But the thing is with leg below, like a lower amputee, is it's functionable because you can walk on it. It's actually got some. It's got some importance. It's got some relevance. Like, it does something for you daily. My one's just hanging there.
Purely
it's hard to put on a jumper on it because you have to, and certain ones get stuck, and it's just simply because you're insecure. And all right, they say it has some to have the weight, so you're not leaning. Yeah, but it's all done for me. It was just done to look like I have an arm, and that took a while for me to be like, do you know what?
Don't worry about it. Actually, life's better without it.
Fuck everyone else's opinion. But that come later. At that time, so I was just doing stupid shit. Like, even one time we was on a train, and like, I've got a load of drugs on me, and they're coming. So we pulled the doors, made the train stop at Turnford, and jumped off, and then just like, and I ended up getting nicked for that. But I got away. But it's just stupid shit I was just doing, and still had a little worker, some guy I'd known since I was a kid. He was running for me, and he ended up stealing a load of drugs. And that's another thing. This cunt would have never done that.
No.
It annoyed me so much.
Yeah, you're vulnerable.
Well, in the end, he was, because I ended up kidnapping him, holding him hostage, stabbing him, and demanding my money back, which turns into blackmail, false imprisonment, and Section 20, remanded behind the door. Yeah. I'd went to jail before that a couple of times. I got done for that train. They gave me 15 months. I got done for
15 months of it.
Yeah, but 7.5. Got done for a few other things, like remanded for a knife point robbery at Reading. Like, I went to prison a few times.
How did it feel first time you went in, having one arm?
Do you know what? Like, it was. I knew the ropes a bit more then. It was cool. Everyone's sweet. Like, I think when you get in there, the people that really like, got the wing a lot, yeah, they're not. It's not that bad. I don't think. I think if anything, it's less of a problem for me than if I had two arms. I think
You actually,
people are more like
just sort of let it be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not really that much. Yeah, so
Is prison adapted for? Because I mean, obviously, what's your daily routine like? You know, even getting dressed and things like that. Like, do you have aids at home where you know, things that help you out? Can you take that into prison?
no, that's a good. No one's ever asked me that. No, and this is where when I got that big bird and I ended up getting sent for that kidnap, false imprisonment, blackmail, or whatever, and I got 10.5 years EDS, got it reduced to 8.5. I had to serve 2/3 of that, so I ended up doing 5 years. And on that sentence then is when I really noticed that actually they do nothing for people with disabilities. They struggle to accommodate people with able bodies. Let alone, and it's not them, it's the staffing, it's the funding, they have nothing. They do nothing.
Even the awareness. They probably don't even have the awareness for the staff.
Well, I'll tell you, like, I had a senior officer, they're called SOs, come up to me one time, and in prison I'll just have it tied in a knot, the jumper. And he's gone to me, pulled the sleeve, where the arm's missing, and went, he's armless. And I said, like, I'm on a parole sentence, I want to go home, yeah. So I put that on a formal complaint about him, right? And he lost his status. But it just showed the ignorance of them.
Yeah.
Like, they have no, it's susceptible. That it's just cool to say them things. Like, they don't see it. But you wouldn't go up to a black guy or a Muslim in prison and say something racist to them. But he'll come up and pull my sleeve and say, and I think that dynamic of ice banter with disability is more acceptable in society than it is with the banter with, you wouldn't say that in a racist way, would you?
No.
Say it's banter.
Yeah.
But he tried to say to me, I was only joking. I'm like, yeah, but that's...
Don't work that way, yeah.
Yeah, but...
look at it from my side,
But before, that was at the end of the sentence. Before, I probably would have got into madness with him because I was keeping up fuckery at the beginning, like a lot of block, a lot of fighting with officers, like just making my sentence more harder, like a lot of basic.
Was this the frustration?
I think it was the trauma still. Like,
yeah.
I hadn't processed losing my arm.
Yeah.
I was angry. I hated myself. I didn't value myself. Before I went, I was just drinking and getting on drugs.
Well, I was going to say, like, sounds like you've sort of felt worthless, and you've spiraled, you know.
Unbelievable.
Self-destruct.
Yeah, like, I come out, I was doing all this shit, and I was just getting on drugs. I was drinking a lot. And then when I went to prison, I had that same, I might not be on drugs or whatever, drinking, but I had that same anger, that same hate, that same unprocessed PTSD, trauma. And it was just, I was projecting it on the authorities that I've been told of since I was a kid that are bad. You know? And it's you never win in that life in prison because they love that. They'll wrap you up, put you in a block, put you on basic, not let you out, wind you up, antagonise you, keep you on basic.
They want the reaction. They want the reaction, yeah.
What I found as a process through the prison, if I started reading like the laws of prison and the PSIs, and I met a couple of people that know about it, and then I found that actually they're supposed to do this for disabled people. They're supposed to put this adaptation. They're supposed to make reasonable adjustments, and it's actually an Equality Act. And I started putting all these things in, and then it becomes a problem for them. They don't like that. They much rather you be aggressive and angry.
Yeah. Well, at that stage, they want you out.
Yeah,
they want to get rid of you, don't they?
Start doing that. But yeah, so when I got that sentence, I was in Peterborough. Peterborough sent me to like Loudon Grange. Oh, first of all, I was in Bedford. I got chucked out and into Peterborough. Then I went to Loudon Grange. That's a long-term BCAT. That's different there.
Horrible.
It's just proper people that have got big sentences. So,
but do you find? I mean, a lot of people seem to say that in them sort of long sentence BCATs, people are just getting on with it.
much better. Like, if they're gonna do you, they're gonna try and
It's going to be
your
properly.
life, and they're gonna try fucking. But like today stuff, it was run smoothly. There's never like hardly ever do they say, oh, there's been a disruption on C-Wing. Like local remands, you might not get out when you're supposed to get out. Long term, they run it smooth. Like if you're supposed to get out, you're gonna get out. If there's a disruption, like an incident, they would get it dealt with quickly and then let you out. Like in BCAT, that means that incident on C-Wing means A-Wing ain't having SOS today. Like, it's stupid. But in long term, what I find is your structures run, so you get structure. You can do courses because you're in for a long time. So I've done some courses. I've done Resolve. And that, I didn't know nothing about emotions. I was totally naive to emotions. Honestly, it wasn't something we spoke about or I knew about. So when I done Resolve, it I kind of opened my eyes to like, this is why. It didn't cure me, but it was like, it helped me to think.
It made you understand.
Yeah, I was like, so this is why. So then I set, like in Resolve, you set some goals. My goal was to get to DCAT, and I'm in BCAT. I started writing my life because everyone always say to me, Chris, your fucking life's mad. Da, da, da. So I started writing it. I've written it all down in one.
And you're writing with your left hand now.
That's what was torture. Like, it was like reliving the trauma. But I written it down. I wrote like 70,000 words. But to me, like, I've not done nothing with it lately. It's just on the back burner. But what it did do is it helped me to process everything I've been through. Getting it down, writing it down. Is gives you a different dynamic of seeing your life in a different way. Yeah.
It kind of gets you out your head, I suppose.
Yeah. And then I met some guy and I was like friends with him. Then eventually he helped me to get my CCAT. Went to the Mount. The Mount's my local. They said I got to go there. I was off trying to get to the new one in Berwyn at the time. It's called Berwyn, I think, in like Wales. I was trying to go there and they wouldn't have it. They said I got to go to my local. So I was thinking, I don't want to go to my local and see loads of people. Yeah. Get wrapped up in like,
go backwards.
We're getting parcels. Do you want to jump on this? Do you want to put? And it's like, I just want to go home.
Yeah. How long have you been in for 4 years by now?
No, by that time, it was like about three and a bit I'd done, and then
you felt pretty reformed at that stage. Like you felt like you turned the corner.
Yeah, so I'd done CBT in Loudon as well, and that really helped with like just understanding the trauma a bit better. It wasn't great, but it just helped, and I think that with writing things down, learning about emotions in Resolve, put me in a better place to, I'd say, not be reactive so much and focus on going to DCAT, which involved playing the game, I suppose, in prison, like biting your tongue, banging up when they say, not getting IEPs, staying enhanced, and just progressing through the system, like, and going under the radar. If you're, everyone's got their little hustle going on in prison. You're always doing this, doing that, but just keeping it calm with the screws and just not being, because some of them can be like really pricks, but then some of them are all right, like in a sense where you can just do your thing. Progress. All you want to do is go home as soon as possible. If I can be in a DCAT where I can go home and start rebuilding family ties, which they actually are broken at this stage, then let me get there. So it happened. I went from Loudon to the Mount, and I did, like I said, I didn't want to go to the Mount because a lot of people that are from my area be there. And I was trying I was trying to go up to Wales, Berwyn, but they wouldn't have it because it was new. And I thought, when a new prison, it's like,
be nice,
and you can go there. But yeah, they sent me to the Mount, and it was actually good for me because the Mount had just had riots at the time, and my friend he's there, or a few friends were there, and they was involved in. They see the riots and people getting shut down and whatever. And when I got there was a lot of restrictions, so like the exercise yards was halved, and they was holding people from here to there, and it was like really tight run. And I just used it as a reason to get out. Like, it wasn't suitable. I just stayed there for like 7 months, got my DCAT. And they ended up shipping me to where they sent me, Hollesley Bay, and they rejected me, sent me back to the Mount.
Really? Under what grounds?
They said because you got an EDS sentence, your actual release date could be in 5 years. But I said, but my parole date's in 2 years. And if I'm in DK, I'm getting my parole. But they said no and sent me back. And then they sent me again to Ford. And it was lovely there. Like, lovely in the sense of, mate, you can, there's no walls. There's no.
I was going to say, you get key to your cell, and
yeah, there's no. But even in certain jails, you get keys to your cell, but you got bars and screws can undo it. Here, there's no bars. There's no nothing.
Pure open prison.
It's lovely. Like,
yeah,
I say lovely, but it's
as
nice.
The best, as good as it's going to get.
Good as it's going to get, and it's progress. I've had to work to get there. I've had to behave a certain way to get there.
Almost like the system's worked.
Yeah. When you're there, you start getting home visits and start seeing your family. I met a guy in there. He'd been to Harvard. I still talk to him now. He was in for like a fraud thing, and like we worked together, and he was like the first, like, I'd say, man, like a male role model that has made a lot of money, and like just encouraged me in a way that I've never ever been spoke to.
Just showing you a positive way.
No one's ever made me think how he makes me think with the questions that he asked me, like about myself and the way I thought. And honestly, he changed the trajectory of my life because he showed me, actually, you, Chris, what you've been through is the value you can offer to society. You're just using it in a negative way. He said, like, you read my story, and he's like, everything you've done, this can be a movement to help people. This could be something that
And
he started showing me ways of like monetizing that, and he was like, oh, this is how you should do this. But just that guidance is why I do what I do, like with mentoring now. Like, it's like just that support changed the whole way I see things. Like, people used to say to me, why are you chilling with him? Like, he doesn't look like an average criminal. He's just a calm, quiet. But mate, my mind's never been like tested or thinking that way. And it was like, yeah.
And that's what you needed at that time as well.
It was perfect. I think everything happened, and I met him, and I was overweight at the time, and I had like 20 months, 18 months left to go, and this is when I started training. Never trained in my life. Everyone was getting on to me. Like, my pals even were saying to me, mate, you've been in jail nearly 3.5 years. 3.5 years, and you've just
what have you been doing yourself?
You've just got fatter. They said. And they're like, why? Like, one of them said, I think you'll never get this time back, but you could get fit and maybe live longer. And that one hit hard, and I just started running.
That's great, that is, yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. Like, you'll never get this time back. Like, the most precious thing we have is time. You never know when it's up. But he said, you're never getting this back, these 5 years, but you could get out healthier and maybe live a bit longer.
Get another 5 years bolted on the back end.
Maybe. And it really hit that one. And I started running, and I couldn't even run, mate. I honestly had a derby like you wouldn't believe. It was fucking...
I'd believe it.
Actually, Brad used to call me that. He used to call me Derby in the Mount, and they used to wind me up saying rotten. Yeah. Then I went. That Sam who I met, he said to me, you should go to this talk, and it was a lady from a charity called Kersler Arts, and she was doing a talk, and then she done a talk, and they do like creative, and he said you could take your book to them, and then I applied to work there, and I was working there from Ford. And they're a brilliant organisation.
What's the charity called?
Kersler Arts. So I worked there, and it's just they're all like educated people, but just kind. And I got there, and I said to the director, I said, like, this is uncomfortable for me. You're all too kind. I said, like, I've just been in prison for 5 years, nearly, and when people are kind, there's normally an ulterior motive behind it. Like, what's going on here? And it made me feel uncomfortable. But I think, again, it was just what I needed to break me into society. Because I remember the first time I went there, I wore that prosthetic arm. And they were like, didn't say nothing, didn't feel nothing. I'm on the train's rammed. And I remember it hitting the train things. And I'm like, got back, and I'm like, why the fuck am I wearing this? And I'd been doing all this training. And then it was like, I never went back and wore it again.
Really?
And I've never worn it since.
Really, literally, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. And I was like, fuck anyone else. Like, I forgive myself. I've put myself through hell. I'm comfortable in who I am. He was like,
That's a powerful position as well.
It was like, no, fuck this. Like, stop hiding behind that. Like, it takes away that, because sometimes people wouldn't notice it, believe it or not, with the prosthetic, yeah. And then it's like, you feel that you've got to bring that up sooner or later. And it's like, bam, it's here. This is who I am. I love me. If you don't like it, like, and if you want to stare, like,
walks and all, isn't it? It's like this.
Yeah, and from then I've never worn it since. And yeah,
that's powerful. It is powerful.
And yeah, I was. They made me feel so comfortable. So I was there working, and then I was close to release. Yeah, like about 3 months, maybe not about 6 months before release. Everyone's recommending release. I've gone on a home visit 5 day, end up fucking getting drunk, seeing the police officers in my area. They reported me back to the prison that I was out on one in Hoddesdon. and they called me back early on the DCAT, breathalyzed me, drug test me. I passed all this to these. They said, no, we still got to go. And they sent me back to the Mount. Now, by this time, I've lost weight. I'm in shape now. Old Brad's still there. I bump into him. I said, who's Darby now? I said, to right, Dobbs. And me and him, yeah, he was there. I think he got chucked out of DCAT. And then I went for, it was COVID then. It started, I went to Mount back in January 2020, and it was COVID just started off or whatever. A lot of banged up. And I got out in August. I got caught with a phone before that though. But we was in our cell 24 hours a day. No visits.
Yeah.
I think everyone had to blow up because, fuck me.
That'll go mental.
We've got no phone. We've got no visits just because of COVID. We're banged up 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like, of course we're going to have a smartphone and fucking FaceTime my family. And then even they said, they didn't even give me no days for it. They just said, look, because of the circumstances, we kind of understand.
We get it, yeah.
We understand the situation.
Bit of common sense.
Yeah, and they did. But yeah, I got parole. I got out in 2020. July.
How was that coming? Because obviously you come out in COVID as well then.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been weird in itself.
It was strange because initially they put me at my mum's, and then after about 2 months they moved me into a hotel, and I was in a hotel. Yeah, it was weird. Like, loads of people couldn't go out as masks. I didn't have a jab myself. And after what I'm seeing now, I'm glad I didn't.
For the best, yeah.
I'm thinking, from what I see, some of these things they say, yeah, I didn't really abide by the rules. I wasn't really, let's say, into COVID as much as some people. It wasn't like I wouldn't be putting on a mask.
Yeah, I think, again, common sense tells you that putting on a £2 mask that literally, even if you read on the box, it says does nothing for COVID. Like, but people are mentally, walking, following the aisles.
Yeah, but people,
walk that way and you won't catch it.
People are so hell bent on it. Like, I end up getting an exemption card because people was just doing my sweep, like they're doing my head in. Like, oh,
yeah,
you got no mask, you can't come in. I'm like, mate, the doctors I remember, like, it wasn't a cold. I had a cyst, like it blew up on my stomach, and it was actually like really bad. It was like going sepsis, and I was at the doctors and they said, nope, you're not coming in. You ain't got a mask on. But I'm ill. And I ended up going to the hospital and had to go under anaesthetic and had to drain it because it was actually making me go ill. And the doctors were refusing me because of it. It's just like,
yeah, it was craziness. It was craziness.
It was mad.
Yeah, but listen, 90% of the population, if there was a line that said stop, they'd stop. They're just sheep. They don't actually think. They don't think that that's really not going to save anything, No,
and I've been seeing a lot of it now. It's like there's a lot of bad stuff that come from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I had COVID really bad. I had COVID pneumonia. Like, I'll come close to dying. I wrote my will on day 11. I thought I was gone.
Fucking hell.
So I'm not saying that. I don't think the jab's definitely wasn't a success, but at the same time, at that time, people were dying with COVID.
Yeah.
So it needed something.
Yeah.
But I don't think that jab's. I think Big Pharma are going to still sell anything, and again, it's a great opportunity to incite more ill people. Ill people make money, don't they?
Yeah.
So that's another episode.
Podcast. But yeah, so I come out. It was weird. The environment was weird. You couldn't do this. Restrictions were weird.
Did you come out wanting a party? Was it, or was you sensible, Ed? And
I don't know. I felt like I wanted to party a bit because I'd been away for so
Yeah.
long. But then I also had all these dreams and goals that I want to achieve. So I was working with that guy, Sam, and we've been working on things to get that moving. Because he was saying to me, like, you should be doing speeches, you should be selling your book. He said you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And like, I just wanted to make an impact because by this stage I'd worked out like a lot of my, like my dad picked me up in stolen cars. I lose my arm on a stolen bike. There's a massive correlation between the two.
Big time,
like,
yeah.
Like the violence, the anger, the things I've seen, the things I've done, it's like it all stemmed from somewhere. And I wanted to make an impact on society and the people that are suffering from childhood trauma that are projecting it in the wrong way, like myself, like I did. So that was like my core vision of how I can make a difference in that impact. And the things that worked for me were people that guided me to mentoring and then speaking. So going and speaking to them. So I had these massive goals, and it didn't happen straight away. And sometimes you get disheartened because you see people making fast money on social, and like you feel like you're already behind because you've wasted 5 years doing nothing.
Yeah.
And you're like, it didn't happen, but finally, like things are starting to come together now. Like, I'm in schools properly from September doing my own thing. I've been doing mentoring for a while. I've been in schools, but like it's been with other organisations.
And you're mentoring children,
yeah, like
with trauma,
more so like children that are demonstrating bad behaviour,
Yeah.
which is normally stemming from they've had some type of adversity at young, and
yeah,
and I can really get good outcomes with them because
no one's got your experience.
And I say to them like, I get what you've been through. I can touch on that on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's doing well. But now, yeah, like I said, I've done speeches in schools several times, but it's been through other organisations. But finally now,
You're going direct.
I'm going to be telling my narrative, and that's more impactful because I'm more passionate about that because it's what I've lived. So like working with someone, it's okay, it's cool, you're having an impact, but when it's your own story and you're saying, look, and that's why I asked for the images, and I'm saying this can happen, and county lines, I've done that. Like it might not have been called that when I was younger, but we was running
It's
county
the
lines.
same thing, yeah.
And it's like this is where it leads. Like,
Yeah.
And
Stop now.
I can have a great impact on that, and that's where we're going. I've also been working with a charity called Forever Young People, and it's my friend Ash, and we're doing a course now. We've literally got it created, and that will be going in September, October. It's like a 12-week program. So that looks at nutrition, mentors, goals,
Lifestyle,
fitness.
for the whole
It's
thing.
a whole mindset
Yeah.
thing, and it's based on what I think I've done, and yeah, that will be really impactful as well. And I look forward to that because, again, for me, it's about making an impact in the right way for once. Do you know what I mean?
And it's obviously helping you sort of
Redeem myself.
yeah,
as
literally,
such. But
yeah.
you can never
you're
take
leveling
away,
your karma, aren't you?
you can never take away the bad stuff you've done. But I always say, if I can impact more people positively than I have negative people, then the balance is maybe tipped a bit better. But obviously the people that have been hurt are never going to forget what I've done, and I can't try to do nothing about that really.
No, but you can make amends this way and stop it happening to someone else. And
I think it's needed at the moment with
massively,
kids.
yeah.
I think kids at the moment, it's like very confusing for them, I would
London's
say.
lawless at the minute as well. There's a lot of knife crime and
But even just in general for kids, I think they're getting a lot of information that can confuse, and I think it's good to help them in the way that I can relate to. So I've been doing a lot of that and mentoring.
what's the next 5 years?
Good idea. Like, I want to expand it in a level where we utilize people that are with lived experience and grow this and have much more people like myself with their own narratives, their own stories that can inspire change in kids.
Yeah.
I think for me, mentoring was one of the main things, along with fitness and like understanding where it's coming from. But I think if I can grow an organisation of mentors with lived experience, I'm not only giving work to people that are coming out of prison, I'm also help it. They're using them to help people that are going to prison.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
cycle,
of course, yeah.
do you know what I mean? And I think that is to grow more people with like me, like the people you have on here, but they might not be wanting to, but have a team of people like myself that are making positive impact.
Yeah.
So
Well, take yourself back to when you first went to school and that guy was, I think you said you was 12 and you had one session with a counsellor.
Yeah.
That counsellor was you. Might have been a different thing because you're more relatable.
Yeah, and I think that's where I want to go. And yeah, implement courses and just really try to build it as big as possible, because I think it offers opportunities to people coming out.
Yeah.
To say like, look, we can pay you X, Y, Z to help these kids and tell them why you don't. But it's obviously getting the right people that are coming out with the right mentality that do want to change like I did. And then, yeah, not using them, but getting them to guide people in similar situations like what I'm doing, but just expanding it basically.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully we can make an impact.
Yeah. No, I think that's great because like you say, the world's getting worse, not better.
Yeah.
So I think it needs people to step up to the plate like yourself, who actually say, look, my life could have been completely different.
Yeah.
I think again, TV glamorises prison, gangster shit, fighting. Great, and then you're banged up for 5 years, and you realise it ain't as much fun as you suddenly realise.
And it's who do you hurt on the way? Like I said to you, my most painful thing is what I've put my mum through, because I didn't deep the level of like, I've not got kids, so I didn't deep the level of how she's gone through every experience I have and felt the same pain as me, but just not actually gone through it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I didn't really deep that until she broke that down to me. It's like, yeah,
she's been through this as well. Yeah,
she's gone through it all. Like she said she's done 5 years in prison herself, but she's just been outside. And I was like, wow, like, so yeah, that's the main thing, like how you impact people. So for me, it was crazy.
Yeah,
to realise that.
I think the beautiful thing is that you've seen that, because so many people, they get to 40, 50, they still ain't seeing it. You know, you've realised it, and you've realised the pain you're causing on the way up.
Yeah.
And you're doing something about it. So, I commend that, mate.
So, yeah, thank you. And the next 5 years, it will be getting this bigger. I probably will touch on the book. I've just put it on the back burner for now, but I probably will want to get that published at one point. And the goal is to one day make a series out of my life. Like, why not?
Yeah.
I speak to people that are producing stuff like that in the film industry. So I'd like to do that one day. But first of all, I think just setting up this foundation that we're building and see how that goes. And then maybe that's the 5-year plan.
No, brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Listen, I've loved chatting to you today. If there's anything else you want to finish on, or you...
No, that's sweet.
I think it's really commendable about what you're doing there, and some story, mate. Listen, you've been about 2 miles from me for the last however long. Like, it's like living a madness. So, but no, look, it's been an absolute pleasure. Top man, Chris. Thank you, mate.